Hello today. Before we get this video underway, I just wanted to address a little something real quick. I received a comment in one of my videos the other day, and it goes a little something like this. Now, for anyone, who wants to unsubscribe just because they don't like a particular aspect of the YouTube channel or the Facebook group that the YouTube channel is supposedly based off of, feel free to leave. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to kill me. Now, let me read it. I clicked on the video just to unsubscribe because your Facebook group have turned into a group for black women and their simps being brutally honest. And you see my response like right there. Now, this is probably the kind of guy that wants to sit up there and talk shit about black women all day without any consequence or without anybody trying to counter whatever he's saying. In environments like that, it's a discussion group. It's not a let men trash whoever they want all fucking day with no debate or response. Because that's like me talking to a wall. If I didn't want anyone to respond to my negative bullshit, then I would talk to a fucking wall. I mean, you don't have to announce your departure. I mean, every time somebody unsubscribes, I'm still in like the low 3 digits, so I see it, but it's not going to kill me because I know the support is coming. And I'm grateful for the ones who decide to stick around and keep their subscriptions. And hopefully one day I can come up with something that everybody can be entertained by or to inform or to educate. Now, let's get on with this video. Hello, this is Kev, and as always, I'm asking you, if you haven't and you're watching this, please go below this screen and hit that subscribe button and hit the notifications bell and support the growth of this particular YouTube channel. Kanye West certainly knows how to get the attention in the most, the biggest of ways. Him and Jim Brown were having lunch with Donald Trump and got asked a bunch of questions and such. And Kanye West is always the guy to be Kanye. Now, based on what he said during this whole meeting with Donald Trump, has received a lot of backlash from the liberal community and a lot of backlash from the black community. But, as always, there's always people that are on two sides of it. I'm going to be on the side that Kanye West said a lot of jibber jabber. He did. He talked as if he was a man who was trying to give a campaign speech in front of a crowd that was cheering stuff. That's what it kind of sounded like to me. He also sounded like a guy that was like, oh my God, I'm in the White House in the Oval Office meeting with the president. Sounded like a guy who was trying to get everything in, make sure I didn't miss anything. Because like in a lot of that, he was so random. But the one thing is, I doubt he's an idiot or that big an idiot. Yes, Kanye West, like his meeting with the president that was on camera, it seemed like a big ass tangent. When he was saying something like when he was speaking on Larry Hoover, saying that Larry Hoover, he is me in an alternate universe. I don't know, maybe that sounded like some kind of brotherhood chant. Maybe, saying that I am he in another alternate universe, maybe he's saying to himself, well, hey, you know what? I see another black man. But, all the metaphysical chat, if you're not on that level, a lot of that will go over your head. But it still sounded crazy. He also said that, when he put on the hat, it made him feel like Superman. Because, he was getting threats by his friends, don't wear that hat. Now, think about that, though. Think about you being a black person walking into your family's home with a Make America Great Again hat. And you're a black person. Think about what tension you'll cause by some of the family members Instead of you just letting you wear your hat, they'll look at you like you're some kind of like new evil or something. Yes, Kanye did sound sort of crazy, but the point of me saying that is to say that whenever you don't agree with the collective of blacks, we're talking about the black community now. Whenever you don't agree with the collective, you are shunned, you are castigated, you are treated like you're crazy. Period. Oh, and also they call you little names like coon, sellout, Sambo. They say that you represent the character that Samuel Jackson played on Django. Yeah, like one thing that might have thrown my people off is the fact that Kanye sat up in that meeting and said that he looked up to Donald Trump, but he also said he looked up to Ralph Lauren, to look up to American industry guys. And see, if you make this about race, I can just turn around and say, well, like a lot of y'all, a great number of y'all look up to white Jesus. I mean, I'm just saying. But this right here, I think, threw people off the most. When Kanye was asked a question about racism, and he was asked that, and he was asked about when he said that George Bush did not care about black people. And he went in, and the kind of the usual black conservative talking point is that I was in a state of victimhood. They're thinking that blacks were victims because of, racism. And, but he did bring up a very strong talking point. He said that Democrats use racism to keep blacks in line. Kinda. But what didn't help is when Kanye turned around and did this right here. Now, please tell me how y'all attend churches where they preach time and time again, love your enemy, and, most of y'all consider Trump an enemy because he's quote-unquote racist. How can y'all be mad at a man that does this? I mean, really, honestly, like, to a lot of black people, that Kanye West walking up to hug that man just like that was kind of like, I would say, a black man walking up to hug a Klansman. Like, the way Donald Trump has looked in the public eye ever since he started running for president, pretty much would kill any dialogue for anybody who aligns with them that are black. Because that's the way that our people think. They don't think in terms of maybe he's just trying to go to talk with the man to maybe get some changes done. And he is the president. I mean, at least the president did open his door to somebody black who was an influential public figure. I mean, think about it. What about the blacks that have not opened their doors to talking with Trump? How much change have they affected? Or are you complaining about those guys too? Your Jesse Jacksons and your Al Sharptons, those kind of guys. And another thing, how many times have celebrities have visited our previous president, Barack Obama? Like, and nothing was done. There were no policy talks. It was just basically celebrities showing up to hang out and eat dinner. Now, I'm not saying that the kind of thing should not happen. I'm not criticizing or demonizing it holistically. But how many of them have tried to go in there and do what Kanye West has done? Basically in front of a bunch of cameras talking a bunch of jibber jabber. But he did say a lot of real shit. He did. This is what I saw in the interview for myself. If you listen to the news media, you listen to certain public figures speaking on it, what you're gonna have is their opinion if you don't check it out for yourself. Now, like I did say, Kanye West did sound a little cuckoo at times. Talking about alternate universes and shit. I mean, but you gotta understand, Kanye West is an artiste. He considers himself an artiste. He was speaking in kind of an artistic language. Didn't make much sense, but I bet if you put a beat behind it, you wouldn't give a shit. Now, talking about the Democrats and, talking about Hillary's campaign did make him sound like a typical conservative. But basically, what he was saying was he loved he loved Hillary, he loves everybody. But when he saw Hillary's campaign slogan "I'm with her" and saw the campaign, he's saying it's not something that made him feel like that he could go outside and play catch with his son. And he also mentioned that he was in relation to that he was a man whose father and mother separated when he was a child, so he didn't grow up in a household with a lot of male energy. And coincidentally enough, he married into a family that did not have a lot of male energy. Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, he did touch on how mental health is handled, the education system, and how it can lead you back into what he described as a trap door, but he was talking about the 13th Amendment. According to a recent argument, the 13th Amendment is basically designed to undermine you, even though it abolished slavery. If you don't, quote unquote, do things a certain way, it can lead you back into a life of slavery. Or, as he put it, the cheapest, it can lead you to a job at the cheapest factory in the world, the prison system. Now, how many so-called leaders have always sat there and talked about the damage that the prison system has done to the black community? And here you got a man sitting in front of the president saying, hey, you know what? The prison system is the cheapest factory in the world. And because we have not treated mental health, we got a lot of people being led back into that system. And that needs to change. And that is something that I can agree with. I mean, take a visit with history and look up things that happened post-slavery. Like, I would say the abolishment of the Civil Rights Amendment of 1875, which paved the way for Jim Crow. Also, look up the Black Codes. Yes, I mean, you had a 13th Amendment, but with the Black Codes, which is saying that, okay, if you were a freed slave, you had to have employment. If you didn't have employment, they could arrest you and fine you. And if you couldn't pay it, they sent you off to work somewhere to work off that difference. Basically, trying to find a way to put you back in slavery. So when people hear, oh my God, he's talking about the 13th Amendment. That's the amendment that abolished slavery. How dare he? Does he want us to be back in slavery? I don't think that Kanye wants to be back in slavery or wants any black person to be back in slavery. I think saying that is ridiculous. And for real, with the mental state of the black community today, do you think a white person can actually walk up and try that shit? Damn, that would be a very entertaining debacle, to say the least. Kanye also mentioned mental health a lot, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh, what, his mental health? How smug people can be sometimes. No, he was saying when they took the mental health institutions out in the 80s and the 90s, then crime and the prison population skyrocketed. Yeah, that does. When you hear the words mental health, you can't always think, oh, they're talking about crazy folks. Mental health, it impacts normal, healthy, mentally healthy people too. I mean, mental health, that's any part of psychological mental stability. That's not just crazy people. But he might. And something that a lot of us like to address in the black community all the time is mental health and mental illness. Now, a lot of us that do mention mental health and mental illness do it just to troll people. But a lot of us are genuinely concerned about it because we have family members that are affected by this. Some of us even are affected by mental health issues. I wouldn't rule it out. Now, one thing that I kind of like, okay, Kanye, you kind of saying a bit much is empowering the pharmaceutical industry. How does empowering an industry that's already robbing people blind is going to empower America? I mean, he mentioned a lot of elite names like Waldorf. Like, how's it empowering the already empowered going to help America? And yeah, I have my issues with the pharmaceutical industry because it's like the pharmaceutical industry is keeping a lot of stuff off the market that could actually help. Because if you haven't heard, there's money in the medicine. There's not money in the cure. It ain't like they're trying to cure people. So yeah, I kind of disagree with Kanye on that one. Oh yeah, and one more thing. He did bring up stop and frisk. How it wasn't a good idea as far as its relation to the citizens and the police. Now, for someone who is a proponent of stop and frisk, and the people he surrounded himself with are seemingly proponents of stop and frisk, in saying our president is that person. Kanye actually, like he said in wearing his hat, he had the balls to say that to the president. I mean, he brought up a direct issue that we talk about in the black community all the time: stop and frisk. So, I mean, thanks. Thank you for bringing it up, an issue that is directly related to racial profiling. And I'm not too big a fan of racial profiling and stop and frisk, and I do feel like stop and frisk is nothing but racial profiling. So, if you watched this far into the video, I have a question for you. What was your favorite celebrity visit to the president? And I'm talking about any president. And what did you like about it? What did you like about the visit that particular celebrity made to the president? I'm talking about any president. I'm not talking about just Trump. Now, to all these so-called race panderers on liberal media, these so-called I'm gonna be pro-black when it's convenient, shut the fuck up. And I'm talking like about people like Michael Eric Dyson, Bakari Sellers, who I haven't liked since the Democratic primaries when CNN was covering it, when they proved that they were nothing but the Clinton News Network, and Don Lemon. Like, who the fuck is Don Lemon to say any fucking thing? Like, he race panders when it's convenient, but he sleeps with a white man. Oh, okay. like that's one thing that like I can't stand, like almost more than anything, is fake pro-blackness and fake outrage. Like, both of them at the same time is even worse. Like I said in another video, a lot of y'all have no idea what being pro-black really is. It's like something you use to stand on because you don't have a solid foundation on your own to stand on yourself. So you try to make others look like that, they're less black than you. And to me, it looks like shit. Yeah, but back on Don Lemon, what kind of got me a little bit about Don Lemon was Don Lemon, in expressing his fake outrage on CNN, he brought up Kanye West's mother. Kanye West's mother's deceased. Be quiet about that man's mother. If I were Kanye West and I heard what Don Lemon said, I'd have gave that man a call. You keep my mother's name out your goddamn mouth. Seriously, dude. Like, just because you want to race pander when it's convenient does not mean bring up my mom. And yeah, for all of y'all out there that, y'all love to bring up black men's mother just because you don't agree with what that particular black man is saying, save that bullshit. Because one big fact is that none of you are my mother. And guess what? To the people that ask me, well, what would your mother think if you were to if she were to hear what you thought about this, such and such? I was like, well, I'm sorry, guy. She already knows. Next. Now, let me go ahead and wrap this up. Leave whatever you want in the comment section. I answer the comments as they come in. It ain't like I get a whole bunch of comments anyway. It sure would be nice though. But my takeaways from this is Kanye West was no more than a celebrity that entered the White House and had a meeting with Donald Trump, just like any celebrity who's ever visited a president. But he was given the floor to speak. And guess what? He said a lot of crazy shit that sounded borderline retarded, but he made a lot of strong points that should have been mentioned. Now, if other celebrities would make that same effort to try to get some change and some policies being fixed, then maybe we would be a little better off. But the change does start with us locally. Like, voting in all the elections and not just the presidential one. But seriously, ask yourself this question, and then this video is over with. If we're sitting in front of President Donald Trump, what would you have to say to him? Seriously, what would you have to say to them? And I hope you think about this one long and hard. And here's another question, real quick one. What was Kanye West supposed to do? What was he supposed to do? Which I hope you get to the end of this video. Well, anyway, like I said at the beginning of this video, go below this screen. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell, and like the video or dislike the video. Give it a reaction. Tell me what you think. I will talk to you guys later. All right.